Hello everyone. Today I think it's about time we talk about Sonny. Now Sonny is hands down the least picked victim. Everybody likes to hate on Sonny, and there's a number of reasons why no one seems to really like Sonny. Sonny has very interesting stats first and foremost, with the mastery of both endurance and strength, his endurance being the highest out of all other victims. He also has some very bad proficiency as well as stealth, or one of the worst in the game. And hands down, the worst toughness, being at I can't even say a whopping, this is more like a flopping 15. Now, his stats aren't necessarily what I believe makes Sonny so bad, it's more so his ability. I personally am a fan of his ability as it's basically wall hacks, but a lot of people do not find it very useful, myself included, until you get him to level 3, which gives him the ability to determine who is making the noise that he's picking up, the family or his fellow victims. And there's a lot of different things that needs to be done, in my opinion, to make Sonny viable, in my opinion, and geez, I'm not sure where to start, so I guess I'll go head first into his ability itself. I, again, find Sonny's ability fine. I just believe that his level 3 ability should be base kit. So with him being able to, by default at level 0, no upgrades required, being able to determine whether the noise is coming from the family or his fellow victims, this will allow Sonny to make more moves early on in your time playing him, as you won't be paranoid every time you pick up sound or get yourself killed trying to investigate whether the sound is one of your allies or foes. Next up, we of course would have to change what his level 3 perk is, or ability, I'm sorry. Now we can go a couple of different ways with this one. We can either make it so at level 3 he can just straight up detect auras of both his allies and victims, but that would probably be a little too strong, so we'll put a pin in that one. And again, if Gun decides to give all victims 3 unique level 3 abilities, much like the family has, minus Leatherface, oddly. Another approach we could also do is give him an all victims see noise or hear noise ability, much like the family has for a lot of their different abilities. This would of course let all of his fellow victims see the noise of, well, each other and the family when Sonny activates his ability. I think that would be a lot more of a balanced, quote-unquote balance, level 3 ability for Sonny, as this would again help him divulge this information to his friends, much like Cook with his level 3 ability. And again, I think it's an interesting level 3 ability that you could go ahead and use as opposed to some other options, which is I believe just a shorter recharge rate and further range for his ability, which I've personally never tried because again it's kind of hard to go back to just everything being gray and you figuring out what's what and all that. But I believe if we make some of those changes to his ability, it'd be fine. It's really just about all he needed his ability otherwise. Another quality of life change. I'm not sure if this is already a thing or not, but if his ability doesn't, I believe it should detect where chickens are as well, so that could be useful. They could just make them gray, much like the generators are, so you kind of be able to figure out, okay, that's probably a chicken or whatever, but it's not going to be like by default where everything is gray. You'd be able to of course see the orange, okay, that's family, the gray, that's chickens, and of course blue is allies, so you kind of be able to route around with that. But now next up we'd have to go into Sonny's stats. Now a lot of people like to rag on Sonny's toughness with it being 15 and oh, he's so squishy, this, that, the third. Honestly, toughness isn't as impactful of a stat as people think it is until you get to honest default toughness, which is 35. Anything below 35 is territory for you to get 2-tap by Leatherface. I say 2-tap because people overuse the term one shot with Leatherface way too much. A one shot is if your health is in the green and Leatherface hits you with an overhead, you just get deleted. That's a one shot. A 2-tap is simply when you get hit by an overhead and then get hit by a follow-up swing from his saw and die. So yeah, let's use proper terms, people. We're kind of making Leatherface seem a lot more busted than he actually is. We're just throwing the word one shot everywhere. But moving along, Sonny on average dies in about 4 hits. The only time Sonny would die in about 3 hits if you get like a big swings Leatherface or Johnny running around. And even then, even Connie with her 20 toughness, Leland as well, will die to that. I don't know why everyone kind of makes Leland seem like he's a tank when his toughness is 20. He can get no cell all he wants, that doesn't make him a tank. But moving on. I personally, if I were to be working Sonny's stats, I leave his 15 toughness alone. One thing people do not seem to keep in mind with why his toughness is so low is he has wall hacks, people. Sonny's toughness is a punishment and a grim reminder of why you need to use his ability to route efficiently, as if you get caught out with your 50 toughness, even though you have the ability to literally see where all the family is, you kind of deserve to get up to 3 tapped or well, 1 shot. I'm sorry, with the overhead from Leatherface. So, moving on, we're going to go straight into his strength. His strength, I believe that needs to be lowered. Not for any particular reason, just because if we're rearranging Sonny's stats, his strength kind of has to take a hit, so I'd bring that down to 20. Sonny is also a pretty skinny dude, so it's a little laughable to think that he is stronger than Danny, who looks like he has a bit more meat on his bones than Sonny here. Next up is his endurance, again, for no particular reason besides moving stats around and making more sense. His endurance is going to go down to 30. It's only a 5-point hit, and I'm going to explain why in just a minute after we go into his proficiency. Now his proficiency, we could maybe leave it at 25 or bring it up to 30. It all depends. As I stated in my last video, all the other victims minus Dana and Anna, who I believe should receive a nerf to bring them down to 125, split all the other victims have. Sonny's proficiency could either stay at 25 or go up to 30 depending. Now one thing I'd like to point out is Sonny's bio says he's supposed to be a smart guy, so him having 25 proficiency, the same as Leland, is kind of a little strange. I get we want Connie to be the smartest at 35, I'm fine with that, but if he's supposed to be so smart, his proficiency should show it, not just his heightened sense, which is more street smarts than book smarts, as they're implying. Now lastly, Sonny's stuff is going to take a huge bump from 15 up to 35. Now I know you guys are thinking right now, hang on, I thought stuff is supposed to be Julie's thing. Well, I mentioned it before. There's a couple victims that aren't very popular that needs to be buffed or given some love, and Julie is number 2, so you can expect a video about Julie next, right after this one. But I'm not gonna say exactly what I plan on doing to Julie, but you could probably imagine what if I'm bringing Sonny's stealth up to 35 and his endurance to 30. But for now, I believe if we were to switch these stats around, this would support Sonny's, I'm guessing, desired playstyle by the devs, which would be for you to rely on your wall hacks ability, which, unlike the others that have up to 3-minute cooldowns, Sonny's is on a quick recharge, much like Cook and Johnny with their tracking abilities. So you can kind of spam that all throughout the match, depending on how long you're using it. In about the 30-second window you can have it open at a time. So being able to use your wall hacks and creep around the map and bang out objectives when it's safe, I think that'll make Sonny a lot more viable choice, as for anyone who wants to play kind of sneaky and stealthily, Sonny is going to be your go-to. As right now Connie kind of is your go-to along with Danny, as they have the stats to get stuff done sneakily, but just not the information to. So that's one of the reasons why I believe Sonny's best route is going towards the left, where you can take advantage of perks like Sneaky Pete and Highly Skilled, as this gives you some extra points to Sonny's stats to bring it up in lines for you to again be able to take advantage of wall hacks and get stuff done. So with that being said, I think we kind of gotten to the bottom of what my plans would be for Sonny if I was in the driver's seat. But at this point, I'm just going to settle for making this video and praying that someone that sees it and agrees with me, and we can get Sonny in a much better spot. So, lastly, I believe this is the last thing on my checklist of things that needs to be changed about Sonny, and that's going to be his perks. Sonny gets the least amount of perks out of all the other victims, another one being Anna, strangely, who also receives, I believe it's 3 less perks than everyone, as Danny, I believe, has 4. Sorry, 1 more perk than everyone else. At least the number of perks, because Danny has a whole bunch of different perks that no one can get, but that's a different story. So I'd probably would want to, at this point, list what perks they could potentially give Sonny. Otherwise, I just say as long as we can get him about, I think it's I want to say it's about 4 more perks into Sunny, we'd be able to give him more options. I can already say right now, Bomb Squad probably should be one of it because him already having wall hacks is strong enough, so I can see why the devs never gave him that to begin with. But there's a few perks that I believe he could get that would help bolster his perks. Because again, right now your best bet is to go to the left side of his tree. There's some interesting ones through his middle that are mostly detection perks that you can get on him, but again, if you want to play Sonny to his full potential, in my opinion, you want to go down the left side of the tree. Now, one thing to note about Sonny that I find very intriguing is he actually has 2 unique perks that only he can get out of all the other victims. Those perks being Spotter, which makes it so if the family member is near you for a certain amount of time, you will be able to reveal their aura not only to yourself but others. And then there is Meter Reader, which reveals the aura of a family member that operates a generator for a set amount of time. Now, I personally don't find that perk very useful on any map but Nancy's house, as generally on any other map, when you turn a generator off, you're kind of going out the door, so it'll maybe help some other victims a little here and there, but honestly, very situational perk. So we're going to now look at 4 perks that I believe Sonny could get on his tree. Well, actually it's going to be more than 4 perks. It's just I'm going to narrow down these half a dozen or so perks that could be his potential 4 new perks that they add to his tree. So first up would be Hush or Die. This, along with a boost so that this perk procs when you're at 10% and 15% health, would actually be a great perk on Sonny and Danny as well, as this would feed into him not being the king of stealth. Next would be No Stopping, another unique perk from Danny. This would work great on Sonny, as once the exit gates are powered, you kind of have to throw stuff out the window and just book it for the exit, and I think that just goes hand in hand with Sonny in the way his stats work and of course his abilities. Next up we have Head Start. This works great for Sonny as well, as with his wall hacks. I can see him being very tactical and being able to plot out routes to key items to help get him and his fellow victims out with, again, his wall hacks and his new distribution of stuff. Condition will be another welcome addition to Sonny's skill tree, as although he will not be the king of endurance anymore, he still will have 30 points into endurance, so being able to recover his stamina back very quickly at that with condition will be a very fine addition to his tree. Next we'll have Bad Blood. Now let's face it, if you're Sonny, you're probably going to die a lot in first at that, so at least being able to help your teammates out by debuffing whoever killed you would be a great skill to put on for Sonny. Lastly, we have Rescue Medic. Now this is a unique perk to Connie, but I decided I'd list it there anyway because I think that it'd be a good perk to have on with Sonny, as with his wall hacks and his just overall play style. I feel like him being able to kind of tag along with another victim, keep some health on you so you can heal them and maybe stab someone in the back or even grapple them if you have to keep the family off of, let's say, Connie if you're with her. I think that could again be a great perk for Sonny to have on his skill tree. So that is about it for all the changes I'd make to Sonny. So just as a recap, by default, Sonny will now start off with All Knowing. He will instead, as a level 3 perk, get the ability to give all the victims the ability to distinguish noise between each other and what have you. And again, if we were giving 3 unique level 3 perks, give him the ability to see auras of the family members when he uses this ability as well. And I guess for last one, if you guys didn't know, Sonny kind of has a bit of a lingering effect after he turns his ability off, so I'd make it so that lingering effect would last a little longer. And I believe those would be the 3 level 3 perks I'd give Sonny if, again, we're taking a page out of Danny's book and giving everyone 3 unique level 3 perks now. Next up, we'll be making some changes to some of his stats, so I'll have them on screen. Again, toughness is going to stay the same, as I believe Sonny's lower than average toughness is a punishment for anyone who's not wise enough to use his wall hacks to the point that you are never ever caught out by the family. His endurance is going to take a slight hit on 5%, and that's, again, I'll spoil it now. Julie's going to get a bit of a boost to endurance because she'll now be the queen of endurance. And really, just his endurance had to take a hit because it's not going into his stealth, which is not going to be 35. He is going to be the, again, master of stealth. This goes hand in hand with his wall hacks. I believe him being able to spot out where the family are and then quickly gather an item or, open a door. Those two stats, again, it just feel right, like Sonny honestly always should have had. His strength is going to drop down to 20 because let's be honest here. Besides Alejandro from Brooklyn, I don't understand why anyone would want Sonny to have 35 strength. I mean, it's nice for kicking off the gym, sure, but with you being able to have control of your attributes and even put on been working out, if you want Sonny to be that strong, you can make him that strong, but by default, it doesn't fit with his kit, so that's why that has to go down. Plus, again, his stealth being 35 now, the points had to come from somewhere. His proficiency, originally I wanted to be at least 30, but I think it'd be fine at 25 as when I gave it some thought, honestly. With Sonny having wall hacks and now such high stealth, him being able to have his proficiency just 30 by default, it just adds a bit of power creep to Sonny that I don't think he needs. We need him to be viable, but we don't need him to be broken. We already have Danny and Connie in the game, so, let's not have 3 nightmare victims that's going to just rush out of the game immediately. So, we of course have the perks, but I just went over a tangent on perks, so I don't have to list that. But again, just know he'll be getting 4 extra perks to his tree, which will bounce it off with Danny, and I believe that all the others should get at least 1 extra perk, even if it's just, again, Danny's little perk that gives them a boost to said stat when they are at low health, which again would be 5, 10, and 15% depending on which levels now, instead of just the 5% health, because that's laughable. So for the heck of it, I'm actually going to list a few perks on the screen now that I'd want Anna to have, just because I don't feel like it's worth making an individual video for Anna, as it'd be like 3 minutes long anyway. There's only a few changes I make to Anna. But besides that, I really hope you guys enjoyed this video as much as I did making it. If so, please like, comment below what your thoughts are on Sonny, what changes you would like to see, or what you thought of my changes. And feel free to subscribe if you enjoy the content here. I make plenty of videos like this. I have a whole bunch of gameplay videos, more of that than these commentary videos, that's for sure. This is kind of a new thing for me, honestly, but I've been enjoying it so far, so you can definitely expect a lot more videos like this in the future. And stay tuned with my next video, which will be either gameplay or me finally buckling down and giving you guys my thoughts on what changes need to be made to Julie in order to, again, make her more meta, because, again, from my experience, Julie and Sonny are probably the least picked victims I see in my games, and when they are picked, they're usually dead first, so hopefully these changes will help prevent that. So thank you so much for watching, and stay tuned for the next video.